After this first lecture, we'll speak about something more philosophical almost. We have the well-known Dutch astronomer Govert Schilling as speaker. Please welcome Govert Schilling. Honor to have you here. I had difficulty in translating your title of your lecture. How would you translate it yourself?
I gave my talk the title The Discovery of Heaven, which is actually the book title of a famous Dutch novel. But what I try to do in my talk is provide people with some sort of a cosmic perspective on being human.
A cosmic perspective on being human. Elaborate.
Well, my profession, I'm a self-employed science writer. I basically write about astronomy and space science and all those kind of things, which sounds sort of technical and scientific, but in reality, this is a topic that really touches upon philosophical questions, because astronomy, well, it talks about questions that used to be in the field of religion or philosophy, like how did everything start? What is our place in time and space? And that's exactly the things that I try to talk about. And the reason is that many people, certainly people who have a busy professional life, they run and jump from one activity to the other, and not everyone has time to reflect on our place in the wider universe. And I'm certain that having that perspective gives you well, a more interesting view of what it is to be human.
And also to be a professional Congress organizer. How does it relate to Congress organization?
The thing is that what I hope to achieve is that people realize that a lot of things that we used to talk about, also on professional conferences of whatever type, that we tend to focus only on our daily activities. And everything around our person, our conference, our meeting, our group is the most important, and around the time that we live in right now. But if you view this space and this time in a wider perspective, it gives you some sense of relativity and gives you some distance, some perspective. And I think that whatever the field is that you're working in, this is always helpful in coping with daily difficulties and maybe even with organizational difficulties.
Sun starts to shine. It was meant to be. Last week, a comet has passed by really, really close. Does this add to the relativity?
Well, in a sense it does. It actually was a small space rock, maybe just 10 meters across or something like that. Nothing to worry about.
I don't want that in my backyard, actually.
I want it in your backyard, but the fact that these things happen, and also with larger objects, it tells us that we are not in control. We tend to think that we humans are in control of everything, of our daily lives, of the society that we're part of, and we're not. Nature is in control. And realizing that makes you sort of humble. And it doesn't tell you that nothing matters anymore. That's something I will delve into in my story also. But it gives you a better perspective on what is important and what we can do in shaping our own world and what we can't.
Yeah, because this is what fascinates me. I tend to be quite environmental conscious, but I can imagine if you realize that it can all end with a Big Bang anytime, why should you drive a Prius and not a more environmentally unfriendly car?
I see what you mean, and I think the reason why you should do that is that to give sort of meaning to our life, you should not look at wider distances and big spaces of time, but the meaning of your life is important for the here and now. But you can find the meaning by realizing that you're part of this wider cosmos. And that's a trick I've come to learn, that you need to know that you're part of this, an insignificant small part of a wide universe, but it doesn't mean that your life is not meaningful, because the meaning in your life is in the here and now. And that's something that might give you the reason to drive your Prius or to be environmental sensitive. And I think that's a very good thing to do.
Are you?
Maybe not enough.
Okay, I have some questions prepared. You say you write about, but you wrote loads and loads of books. More than 50, as I saw.
Yeah, it's my profession, it's what I do. So, and I've been doing it for a long time. So
You must. I'm trying to write my book, and it takes me 2 years to even start. Well, you are is that an English word? An autodidact?
I'm a self-taught.
Self-taught. Thank you.
I don't have an academic background in astronomy. I started out as an amateur astronomer when I was 15 years old, just with my own telescope in my backyard. And I used to like writing ever since I was a very young child. So the two naturally came together and I started to write about my hobby.
Okay. You are a well-known Dutch TV person. Presenting is in your blood, is it?
Presenting is?
Presenting, speaking, public speaking is in your blood, or are you trained for that?
I haven't been trained for that either, no. So I think that giving this talk is piece of cake in a sense, because the topic is so exciting and I know everybody will be listening passionately. And the same is true for doing things in radio and TV programs, but it's not that I am presenting those things. Well, I did once last year, but generally a TV program would invite me to explain something in layman's terms about new astronomical discoveries or whatever. And that's easy to do because the topic is so fascinating.
Yeah, I know a lot of speakers who think differently because they're nervous as hell. But for the people abroad, Govert is, well, you're regularly on television.
Every couple of weeks or something like that, maybe on average.
You're really well known. And presenting data, you're dealing with lots of data, distances and amounts. How can you make that interesting on a stage?
Leaving them out. I think that when you talk to an astronomy-minded audience, like other amateur astronomers or scientists, or you need to have all these figures in because they like to know all the details. But on this particular case, I think it's very important to just tell the basic big red line that connects everything together. And yes, I will talk about billions of years of cosmic evolution, and I will talk about sizes, but only on a very general level. Everybody can easily understand it, and my message is in normal words.
So no data, no sheets, no, okay. You've achieved a lot. You became famous as a writer, as a scientist, as a TV person. What's on your bucket list? What are you what are you willing to achieve later on?
I don't know. I'm really a lucky person having been able to do what I'm doing right now, and I think my bucket list would be not a professional one, but a personal one.
And it is.
And that's seeing even more of this beautiful world that we're part of. Yeah,
that's great.
And I am traveling a lot to observatories in distant countries, to solar eclipses. But it's really, well, it has ignited the wish to see even more of this beautiful planet.
I'm planning to go abroad, as in into space. Is that on your list?
Well, you know, there are these activities of doing commercial space flights, and well, I don't know. Maybe
would you enlist?
I don't know if I would spend 100,000 euros on it, but
just 100.
But maybe they would invite a journalist to jump aboard and write about it. I don't know. I would certainly go. Yeah, I would love to see the planet from the outside. I've talked to many astronauts who have that experience. I would talk about that too, and I'd love to see it for myself.
Great. Should every event have a philosophical aspect?
In some sense or other, yes. Maybe not to the extent that I'm doing here, because I will be talking for over half an hour, but at least a couple of minutes. It's very good, because when you have an event, people are already a little bit out of their daily normal comfort zone, and that's the best way to grab them and to let them think about things that they usually don't think about so often.
Well, people will be able to ask you questions via Twitter, and after you've spoken, we'll see you back here for a short review and answering their questions. Thank you so much, Govert Schilling. Okay.